Hey YouTube, it's Michael Mason, Metro Preparedness. So today's video is on bug out location security, or bug in location security. Security for your wherever you are after SHTF happens. This is more geared towards bug out location security, because hopefully that's where you are with your mag or your team or your tribe, whatever you want to call it. So bug out location, you want it to be low population density. Just go over some basics here about it. You want it off the beaten path, you wanted difficult target, and you want wooded hills, mountains, something like that. You don't want it like out in the middle of flatlands. You don't want it in town. You don't want it around a lot of people. Low population density, like I said, rural area. Not visible from the road. I would suggest at least one dirt road from pavement. In other words, turn off a pavement, get on a dirt road, and then you're out there somewhere. Preferably 2 dirt road turns off of pavement. But hey, can't all have, the ultimate. And a lot of this is what I'm saying is I don't want you guys to discourage you if you don't have all this set up. If you have all this set up, let me know where you're at and I'll come. Because I don't have all this stuff set up. Obviously, I'm not going to go into what I have set up, what I don't have set up. But, yeah, this is just the big picture. This is a good security plan for your bug out location. You may have some of this stuff. You may have none of this stuff. But think about it. Keep it in mind. And strive towards attaining this kind of stuff. Here, 1 second. I got my little notepad. I'm just going to move it down here so it's easier to see. Okay, so, yeah, ability. Also, one of the big things is ability to control access points. The roads coming in, trails coming in, stuff like that. You don't want a straight shot right to your main cabin, structure, whatever. You want it turns in the road with, trees, cliffs, obstacles. If you don't have that stuff, you can do man-made stuff like chicanes. Chicanes are like, say a road is going like this. I'll kind of do it with my hands. So you have like a barrier here, barrier here, barrier here. So a vehicle has to kind of go, around this barrier, and then this barrier's here, so then they have to go around that barrier. They don't have a straight shot in, so they have to slow down at least when they're going through that. And while they're going through that, if you have fixed fighting positions zeroed in on that area and able to provide fire support for that whole area, then that's the best idea. Because if they just slow down and then they continue on and you have no eyes on, well, that's not going to do you any good, because they'll just slow down, go through there, and then continue on to where you're at. Gates, roadblocks. Can you cut down a tree or trees and block off a road that you don't necessarily need? You need to have some access in and out. So you don't want to block like all your roads and stuff like that. You still need to get in and out. Natural defenses. Are there cliffs? Is there a straight drop-off cliff on one side that you still have to guard it, yes, because people could still come up, but it's not as much of a concern. A steep cliff over here. Well, if you have a steep cliff going up, who is on top of it looking down at you? That's a big concern right there. High ground is strategically important. So if you do have high ground overlooking your camp, put somebody up there. Put a LPOP up there, put a fixed fighting position, whatever. One thing that's very important is your bug out location. When you get there, like I talked about in another video, you want to patrol the whole area. You want to know what's around you. Well, that's not just a one-time thing. You're going to want to regularly patrol your area to make sure it's secure. So, yeah, and you want like 2-man teams, like at least 2-man teams out patrolling. And they don't have to be up patrolling at the same time. You can do randomness is best. Don't have a set schedule. Same with guard rotations, shift rotations, stuff like that. Don't have a fixed schedule so people can figure out what your schedule is. Fencing, walls, are like I said, are all delay devices. You can have fencing, you can have double fencing, you have barbed wire, razor wire, all this good stuff. Well, if you don't have eyes on that area, It just takes somebody some time to get through it all, and then they're on you. So you got to have eyes on your delay devices, such as roadblocks, fences, walls, like I said, anything like that, cliff, that's all just delay devices. So yeah, but it's good to have fencing because it slows people down. It also may deter some people that don't necessarily really like, oh man, this is looking pretty crazy. Let's not worry about these guys. These guys got it going on. So that's a big deterrent. So yeah, early warning systems such as motion detectors, noise devices hooked to tripwires. It could be those little battery-powered, like window door alarm sensor things, where part of it sticks onto the wall, part of it sticks onto the door, and when they separate, and you just have a little switch, you turn them on or off. Whenever they separate, they set off an alarm. We could have a hooked to tripwire, like a little tiny piece of tape just barely holding them together, ends tied to, tripwire. Whenever the tripwire pulls them apart, it sets off an alarm. Same with those pull poppers, those little, it's like basically like a little firecracker type thing. When you pull the ends, it goes boom. Okay, well, have the ends tied to a tripwire. Same thing. Boom. Yeah, motion detectors, cameras, drones you can use for security. That's a really good one. Let me see what else I got here. Yeah, so fixed fighting positions. Those are important. You want to have 360-degree coverage around your entire bug out location with overlapping or interlocking fields of fire. Also, for you military types out there, don't be discouraged about the civilian terminology here. I'm trying to put this in words that the average person would understand. So that's why I'm trying not to use military terminology. So some of this stuff may sound odd to you guys that know. Fear not. I'm doing that for a reason. So yeah, LPOPs, fixed fighting positions. LPOP is a listening post, observation post. They're still armed. Can it be a fixed fighting position? Yeah, hopefully it is. Camouflaged, hardened, all that kind of stuff, like a little mini bunker. That's a good thing. Well, and then if you have those fixed fighting positions, like I said, covering 360 degrees of fire, do you have escape routes from those positions if they get overrun or they're about to be? Let me see. Yeah, so you do have secondary fallback positions for those people. And are they hardened? Are they camouflaged? Do they have escape routes? Also, comms is really important. Communications between your posts and like your command and control center, like your main cabinets, which means you need to have a person there manning the radio all the time, as well as all these people. If you get it, it takes a lot of people. So personnel, are you going to be able to do this? Probably not. To provide proper, adequate security, I couldn't. But like I said, there's something to strive for and just something to think about, how much manpower it takes. Because best case scenario is at least bare minimum 4-point security, fixed fighting positions, looking out, covering 360 degrees around your cabin. Each one of those having at least 2 people. And I'm saying bare minimum. I mean, well, it's not bare minimum. Bare minimum is what you got. Do the best with what you got. But for me, for adequate security, bare minimum would be that. 2 people per post, that's 8 people, plus one at the comm station, that's 9 people. Oh yeah, but those people have to sleep and eat and stuff like that, so you need at least double that. So you need 18 people. Well, that's not even the best case scenario, because then you got like 12 hours on, 12 hours off, or whatever your rotation is. Best to have a 3-person cycle. So you get where I'm going with this. It takes a lot of people to do this. This is just security. This is not gardening. This is not hunting. This is not, doing the laundry. This is not doing all the other stuff that you're going to have to do. Okay, so tribe, mags, mutual assistance groups, very important. The more people you have that are competent and vetted and trustworthy, the better. What do I got? Oh yeah, so rally points for falling back. If you got your primary position, your secondary position, your fallback positions, then you got to have rally points. Rally point may also be, do you have escape routes out of your bug out area or bug out location? What happens if a force comes in and overruns you? You got to get out. Okay, then have rally points with caches. Also is really important around the area. Okay, so then you meet up. So you get overrun, you meet up. You all meet up at your rally points. or rally point, and then, you know, you have to have comms. Okay, so then, do you have a recapture plan? How are you going to get that back? Or are you just going to have to call it a loss? Or is the force so overwhelming that you can't do anything about it? That's all things you got to think about. Recapture plan is important. How are you going to get back in and recapture your position? Do you have plans in place for casualties and casualty care? That's very important. There's so much. There's a lot to this, people. You know, this is bug out location security. You don't just go to your bug out location and, oh, everything's fine. You know, they will come. You may be safe for a while. Hopefully you'll be safe for a long time. You don't have to worry about any of this. But you got to have this anyway. Or strive towards this. Work towards this. Do as many of these things as you possibly can. Okay, out on your perimeter, do you have traps? I'm not going to go into those because, you know, within a time frame of within rule of law, it's important we don't have these things out there because you can injure innocent people or kill innocent people. And I don't want to talk about what I have and what my plans are and stuff like that. So, sorry about that, but that's, you know, an OPSEC thing. Tangle wire is one of them, though. I may do a video on that. It's basically you have a bunch of trees, and you tie, like, say, from that tree there, where my finger's pointing, to, like, say, tie it up here to on that tree, and then to down there on that tree, and then to up there on that tree, and then to down there on that tree. And then another one would be starting, like, at this tree up here, going down to that tree, and then maybe going up to this tree, and then maybe going down to that tree. It creates this thing, like you've seen football players, they have that net on the ground, and they got to sit there and they run through it and for the footwork, and they try to run through without tripping. Same kind of thing. It's to trip people up and to slow them down. I don't think I need to do a video on that. It's pretty simple. You can use wire, you can use barbed wire, you can use razor wire, you can use 550 cord, you can use rope, you can use twine, anything, just to trip people up, and to, you know, you can do some low, you can do some high, vary it, you know, kind of like you see in the spy movies where they got the laser beams running all different areas, and the person has to get through them all, you know, sneak through the laser beams to get to snag whatever object they're going after. Same kind of concept, that you got to go slow through there at least. And eyes on, that's just a delay device. Remember, people, if you don't have eyes on, then it's useless. People are just going to take their time and get through it. Another thing you got to think about: thermal imaging. Thermal imaging is one of the best force multipliers that you can have as a prepper, because you can see who's coming. They may be able to see you because they may have it also, but if you have thermal imaging, and it's expensive, very expensive. Night vision, a little bit less expensive, but not as effective. Night vision's, you know, you can defeat either, but you know, I may do the video on that also. Are your buildings within your compound, your bug out location, whatever, are they fire resistant? Are they fireproof? Are they made out of wood? Are they made out of brick, stone, etc.? Are they hardened? Do you have sandbag emplacements? Do you have, you know, steel plates over the walls? I mean, this, and I'm just, don't get discouraged, people. Don't be like, oh, I'm turning this video off because this guy's crazy. There's no way I can get all this stuff. Watch the video. Just absorb the ideas. Think about it. You know, just take from it what you may. Take down some notes as long-term goals or stuff to think about once you're there. Employ these little things. Just do what you can. Don't get discouraged. Please, you know, watch the video. Like I said, take some notes if you want to. I talked about regular patrols, scouts, out and about. Drones are awesome for running security, but they make noise. They make more noise than a person does out there, or like an LPOP, listening post, observation post. Yeah, your MAG, team, and tribe. How many people do you have that are capable fighters? Capable of standing guard duty. It's a little bit different than a capable fighter. You know, you could throw a rifle in anyone's hands, you know, almost anybody's hands. Teach them what fields of fire are. Teach them what, you know, a fixed fighting position versus an LPOP, a little bit different. A person could be out on an LPOP. They know how to communicate. They know where the rally points are. They know where the escape routes are. All those kind of things. Secondary positions, tertiary positions, all that kind of stuff. You can train them in that. It's not that difficult. So don't get discouraged with that either. You don't have to have a bunch of, you know, former SEAL Team 6 operators or Delta guys or, you know, whatever. Just you have to do the best with what you got where you're at. Don't worry about that. Think about it though. Do you have enough for 24/7 guard duty like I talked about? Watch rotations. Also, you need a watch bill for personnel so they know when to go and where to go. Let me flip the page here. My pocket brain got bigger because I wanted to do more in depth and more comprehensive videos. Also, your units or your guys out there in your LPOPs, your fixed fighting positions, they need to know how to report what's going on around them. Pick up their intelligence gathering. They need to relay the information back to the command and control center, so that then you can coordinate, you can inform somebody that that can make tactical decisions about where to coordinate your forces. If you got somebody over here, coming at you, you don't want to rush everybody over there. That could just be a probe and a distraction from the main attack over here. Okay? So hopefully you have somebody that's tactically competent. At least one person. Hopefully more. Yeah, you're going to have pre-watch briefs. New intel, give people sit reps, which is a situation, basically it's telling people what's going on. Any new intel, what's going on over here, what's going on with Farmer Joe down the road, what's been seen around here, what kind of movement, what kind of people have been seen around here. Your watchstanders need to know those kind of things. Do you have comms with your neighbors, with neighboring bug out locations, or the farm down the road, or whatever, whoever it may be in your vicinity? Do you have comms with them? That could be very important. It could be very beneficial. Yeah, 2-person watch teams minimum, I would say, to keep each other from falling asleep. Same like use of caffeine pills, jet alerts, stuff like that to help keep you guys out there on post in the middle of the night awake. Can't be falling asleep like those old Vietnam War movies where the guy falls asleep and then the Viet Cong are on them or in their midst. Can't be doing that. Got to stay awake and alert. What's another thing? Oh yeah, so personnel trained when to fall back. At what point do they need to just say, okay, forget it? But also, what point they need to know to stay put and to fight. Yeah, when to fall back. Also, when to engage. SOPs, rules of engagement. You need to have these SOPs, standard operating procedures. Basically, it's a procedure you write out that people learn, and you can have them at each post so that people can read them and stuff like that. Although they need to be out watching the perimeter and watching their sectors of fire, of responsibility. But yeah, so it would be rules of engagement: when to engage, when not to engage. Also, when to fall back, when not to fall back. Like I said, how do you deal with casualties? Are you prepared for that? Also, vetting protocol for when people show up. Who you're going to accept. That should need to be part of your SOPs, but it also needs to be dependent upon the situation. How are you going to get them into, do you have a location? You don't want to bring them all the way in right at the bat, Take them off to a secondary location or something like that, talk to them, vet them, maybe let them hang out somewhere for a little bit if you think you're going to let them in, but don't let them into your main area quite yet. Take your time, kind of move them from the outer ring to the inner ring, you know what I mean? Okay, low versus high vis security. Stuff I'm talking about is high vis, but it can be low vis. You can have fixed fighting positions, LPOPs, camouflaged, hardened, stuff like that nobody would even see. You can have your structures, camouflaged. You can have your vehicles camouflaged, out of the way, hidden behind trees, stuff like that. Low, if you want to do low vis, you're going to want to do, not lighting fires all the time, not cooking, sound discipline, light discipline, shine discipline, all these different things. If you're high vis, go for it. We're here. Come and get us. We're prepared. We're ready. You make a hard target. Okay, that's good. That's okay to do if you got the resources, the manpower, and the structures, and the support system, and all these security things I'm talking about here. I know my face is in the shadows. Sorry, it's not that pretty anyway. But all right. Trained responses for different forms of attack. Straight on attack, snipers, probes, like I just talked about, somebody scouting your position, kind of probing you for what your strength is and stuff. Oh shoot, where was I going with this? Yeah, so trained responses, SOP, standard operating procedures. If this happens, you do this. If this happens, you do this. Don't do this. Also, do you have caches around your area for resupply? Also, do you have people in the rear that are able to resupply the people out fighting? Food, magazines, ammo. It's kind of weird noise out in the woods. I don't know. Yeah, do you have bunker? Yeah, like we talked about, resupply to fighting positions. Are your personnel trained on how to do that? How to render aid? Do you have a reserve force Reserve force will probably be your off-watch people, with the people with the most sleep in the first rotation, or also maybe people that are performing other duties, like the gardener, the whatever. I don't know. There's gonna be a lot of different things you got to be taking into account during SHTF. But I hope this helps. This is by no means a comprehensive security plan. I think it's pretty decent if you think about all these things and if you strive to head this direction and go and get as many of these things in place as possible. So, yeah, and like I say, don't do this out of fear. Do it out of peace of mind. Can you imagine the peace of mind if you had all this set up? Awesome bug allocation and a mag, team, tribe, whatever you want to call it. Oh yeah. You'd be like, yeah, baby, bring it on. SHTF, let's go. Which still isn't good, because it's still going to be a bad situation no matter how ready you are. But don't fear it. You know, love it. Prep every day. Exercise every day, please. Do the best you can with what you got where you're at. And I'm not the first person to say that. I think Pastor Joe Fox from Viking Preparedness says that all the time. So I'll give him credit where credit's due. He's awesome. One of the guys I really look up to, as well as TJ from Bear Independent. Awesome guys. A lot of other guys. Sorry I bring them up all the time. They're just really cool. I love what they do. They're amazing people. So, yeah, I hope you like this video. If you do, please subscribe. Hit the like button. Share the videos, please. Help get the word out. And if you want to follow the little Amazon link thing to help out the channel, it's just an affiliate program. It doesn't cost you anything extra. If you're normally buying on Amazon anyway, go for it. If you don't, it's okay. It's just if I make a little bit there, I can buy better like tripods, different things like that, and maybe put out some better videos. Also buy things to do show and tells. Thinking about some ideas of making some things and then giving them away as far as a subscriber giveaway. So I'll keep you updated on that, and I'll put some more videos out soon. So I love you guys. I'm so blessed that you guys are here and subscribed. We have some really good people here, and I love you guys. Blessings.